Today, let's break down what are the farmers' reform bills all about and why the farmers are up in arms against it.
Welcome to KAS Mentor, where your dream job is just another reality. If you are not subscribed yet, you are missing out.
Recently, in June 2020, the Union Cabinet passed three agricultural ordinances claiming them to be farmer and trader friendly. However, there was much worry as Punjab and Haryana saw widespread protest against the proposed bills. The Modi-led BJP government even lost one of its oldest allies, the Shiromani Akali Dal, when Harsimrat Badal ji resigned from a ministerial portfolio. In her 4-page resignation letter to the Prime Minister, she said that the central government has not taken farmers on board regarding these bills. The farmers' body also announced a 3-day rail roko agitation in Punjab starting from 24th of September. Welcome to KAS Mentor. Let's together understand this topic in detail. As mentioned earlier, the three reforms brought by the Cabinet are by way of an amendment in the Essential Commodities Act 1955, the Farmers' Produce, Trade and Commerce Ordinance, the Farmers' Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Ordinance. Please be mindful of the fact that all the three ordinances have now been replaced by bills in the monsoon session, which later on can also turn to be acts. So to make it easier, let's think of the Essential Commodities Amendment as the freedom of food stocking by agribusinesses. Similarly, the Farmers' Produce, Trade and Commerce Ordinance as the APMC Bypass Ordinance. And finally, the Farmers' Agreement on Price Assurance as the Contract Farming Ordinance. Now let us understand each reform one by one. The amendment to the Essential Commodities Act 1955. What are the amendments? First, the essential food commodities such as cereals, pulses, edible oil and sugar will be deregulated. There will be no storage limit or movement restriction for the aforementioned commodities. Only under emergency situations such as a natural calamity, when the production collapses, would the limits on stocks be reimposed. From these amendments, it can be derived that economic agents shall be allowed to stock food articles freely without the fear of being prosecuted for hoarding. Now, what does the next two bills provide for? The provisions are: it allows electronic trading of scheduled farmers' produce in a trade area. Traders have to mandatorily pay farmers on the same day or within maximum 3 working days. It allows interstate and intrastate trade of farmers' produce outside mandis. It allows farmers to sell their agricultural produce to private players. It also attracts a huge penalty if a business fails to pay farmers on time. Now, what these ordinances attempts to do on paper is to allow farmers to sell their produce at places other than the APMC regulated mandis. It is crucial to know that the idea is not to shut down APMCs but to expand the choices of farmers. So if a farmer believes that a better deal is available with some other private buyer, then instead of selling his produce in the APMC mandi, he can opt out. Now, what is the government's view? Government emphasizes that the idea with all three bills is to liberalize the farm markets in the hope that doing so will make the whole system more efficient and allow for better price realizations for all the concerned stakeholders, especially the farmers. Farmers will get out of the clutches of the monopolistic APMC mandis and rent-seeking behavior of the traditional intermediaries, thereby being able to pick and choose who to sell and at what price after making an informed decision, so they end up earning more than what a farmer typically did in the past via the exploitative intermediaries and the APMC mandis. For us lay people, prima facie, these laws definitely appear beneficial to the farmers as there would be no stocking, especially in the event of COVID when hoarding is not looked up to, And so is the government enabling legal provisions to stop hoarding or stocking, moreover, sidelining APMC, allowing private partners to come forward, etc., are good signs. Most important is to understand the farmer's view. What the farmers contest. They contest that it opens up the farm sector to more competition, modernization of supply chains by enabling bigger agribusinesses to engage with farmers more directly. Farmers' produce has been for decades sold mainly in the notified wholesale markets run by the APMCs. The major cause of concern is that the farmers allege that in the name of reforms, the government is planning to discontinue the MSP regime. Punjab says, a large part of the Punjab state economy rests on the funds infused by the central procurement agencies such as the FCI, the Food Corporation of India, which procures the farmers' produce at MSP. If the government plans to discontinue the MSP regime, not only the farmers in Punjab's livelihood but also the Punjab state economy would be hurt. When Indian farming system, agriculture is very vulnerable to weather condition, pest attacks, etc. In such a situation, the government stand that they won't buy the produce at MSP. Instead, sell it to the private players. The farmers are left in lurk and not assured of the MSP. If the rate is above MSP, well and good. But what about the case when it falls below MSP? Hence, as the experts say, India definitely needs a state-supported scheme that ensures income for damaged crops during drought, floods, cyclone, etc. Another potential concern is that these provisions gives the corporate the legal right to hold and take advantage of high prices. Corporates can possibly create an artificial shortage of goods and manipulate the market entirely. Has the government addressed this issue in the bill? No. Finally, the experts have maintained that farmers' freedom to sell was never in question, and the reform obscures the real intention of the government. If the government's real intention was to eliminate the intermediaries, then strengthen the already initiated flagship program, that is ENAM, Electronic National Agricultural Marketing. So, in the short run, all might appear smooth and merry. But in the long run, we definitely need to question the government about the gradual ending of the MSP regime. In and all, these are the major concerns, different views of farmers and experts. Before concluding, I would like to throw a question to all you students. Considering the rising pandemic, is conducting protest and neglecting social distancing an educated choice? Is there other avenues through which farmers can voice their dissent? If government works for the people, in that case, when our backbone bearers, our farmers, are unhappy, shouldn't government act to take the bill back? So, pen down your responses in the comment section below and stay tuned for more such informative videos with KAS Mentor.